So EA Sports just added in the PWHL to NHL 25. So we're going to be going ahead and simulating a full season, see what happens. So first off, we got to go ahead and take a look at the teams. There are 6 different teams in the PWHL currently. We got the Boston Fleet, the Minnesota Frost, the Montreal Victory, New York Sirens, the Ottawa Charge, and the Toronto Scepters. Starting off on Boston, their best player is Hilary Knight. I am familiar with her, as well as Marie-Philippe Poulin, 92 overall, tied for the highest in the league, I believe. They do have Alina Muller is on the team, and honestly, their roster, they got some high overalls. An 83 on the third line is kind of crazy, I'm not going to lie. Might move her up to the second line, but some decent overalls. Defensively, Megan Keller is their best defender at a 91 overall, and in goal, they're rocking with, oh my god, a 91 starter and an 86 backup. That is not even bad. Also, why is the menu system even slower with the PWHL? What is going on, EA Sports? For Minnesota, I mean, they got 291 overalls on the first line in Taylor Heiss and Kendall Coyne, who I believe might have went off last season. Oh, okay. Well, these stats are not even being tracked, so I can't even see what happened this past season. I believe it was the inaugural season in the PWHL. But Minnesota has some top-end talent up front. Defensively, a 91 overall Lee Stecklin. I'm probably absolutely butchering these names. I apologize for that. And in goal, an 89 overall starter, Montreal Le Montreal. Up front, have Marie-Philippe Poulin, 93 overall. I think she is the highest in the game, if I'm not mistaken, for the PWHL. And everybody else surrounding her, honestly, isn't that great if we're being real. Defensively, they don't have anybody outside of a... Oh, well, wait a minute. They got Kayla Barnes and also Aaron Ambrose, both a 91 overall piece, so their decor is looking filthy. And they get a 91 starting goalie, and Anne Renee Desbens. The New York Sirens have Alex Carpenter as their first line center, 89 overall. They got some depth, I mean 87 on the second, 88, but their top end talent kind of is lacking compared to the rest of the league, although they got a good first line D pair. Even their top third defenseman and Ella Shelton has an 87 overall. And in goal, their goalies really aren't as strong as the other teams we've looked at so far. Abby Levy, 86 overall as the starter, and an 87 as your backup. So honestly, they're probably going to end up rotating the games between these two ladies right here. Ottawa will have a 92 overall Brianne Jenner. Holy hell, she's going to be putting up a lot of points. Also an 87 alongside her. Second line center with an 86. 85 as your third line center is not even bad. So Ottawa's surrounding talent isn't great, but they got some good superstars that could produce. Defensively, they're not really good if I'm being real. And in goal, we're looking at an 89 overall starter with an 86 backup. And finally, for the Toronto Sirens, I believe their names are, or no, the Scepters, my bad. They do have Sarah Nurse up front at a 91. Spooner is a 91 as well. Their second line isn't even that bad with Turnbull, Gosling, and Comfer. Third line looks very good as well, so maybe Toronto has the best roster in the entire PWHL. And on the back end, I mean, LaRock, fast, 88 and 92 overall apiece. And in goal, we're looking at Kristen Campbell, who is an 88 overall. So now that we know the entire roster, we are going to simulate to the end of the season and see who will go on, win the Walter Cup, but also make the playoffs. I don't know if every team makes it. It might just be 4 out of the 6 teams like they did with the original 6, but only time will tell. Hold up a minute. You can choose your playoff opponent for the first round between Boston and New York. I guess we'll go with the Boston Fleet. We shall see. Now, the PWHL, they play 30 games in a regular season. The Toronto Scepters, as I predicted, was the best team, 16-6, 3-5. So they do regulation wins, overtime wins, regulation losses, and overtime losses. A little bit different from the NHL. Minnesota came second, Boston third, and New York fourth. So Ottawa and Montreal will both miss the postseason, as it is the top 4 teams that get into the playoffs. Susanna Tapani will lead the PWHL in scoring, 33 points on the year, over point per game. Spooner had 32. Hilary Knight was up there with 31. Sarah Nurse had 30 herself. Poulin, 29. Jenner, 28. So the offense right now isn't looking that incredible. Only a few players over point per game. And the most goals would be 14, a two-way tie between Leslie and Tapani, as Susanne was definitely the best player in the entire PWHL. Sarah Nurse was up there as well as Hillary Knight, Spooner, Bika, Marchman, Poulin. For the defensemen, Fast will have the most points at 24. Thompson was up there with 22. Bell, 21. And Zandi Hart had 20. If we take a look at the goaltenders, Kristen Campbell, most wins. I mean, she was on Toronto, 18 on the season. The most shutouts will go to Frankel, who had 2, who had the best save percentage. It was Kristen Campbell with a 918. Hesley had 914. Phillips only played 5 games. Frankel had a 911. And here are the playoff matchups. So you play 2 rounds, and then you play 1 round and then get into the finals. But we are going to have a very quick playoff run here. So the 4 teams are going at it. Let's see who advances to the finals. So it looks like the first round is a best of 5. So we shall see what is going to happen between Boston and Toronto here. And then we have Minnesota versus New York. Both Minnesota and Boston are leading 2-0 in their series, so let's see if they can close it out here in game number 3. First period, a 2-1 lead for Toronto. Second period, and we got a tie game. I'm a little bit surprised, honestly, that Toronto's not winning their series against Boston. I thought they had by far the best team, and there we go. Woods will get on the board. She scores and gives Toronto the lead late in the third period. 4-2 lead. Connors will score. Give an insurance marker to Toronto, as it looks like we will have a game number 4 in this series. Minnesota also with the opportunity here to eliminate the New York City Sirens. They are leading 3-1 heading into the third. Let's see what they can do. 4-1 as Krizova will basically ice the game. I mean, not a lot of time remaining here for New York to cook. And I don't think they're going to do so. They had a power play. They whiffed on it. They do get a goal. Zandi Hart will score. So she brings her team back to within 2. They're back to within 1. Alex Carpenter, 1-goal lead late in the third period. Here we are in game 3. Obviously, New York season is on the line. They actually clawed their way back into the game. And it's a 1-goal affair here between the 2 teams. Lee coming in, dancing to the middle. Let's see if the computers play any differently compared to the NHL. What a big hit there. I did buff up the hitting. I want to see some big hits. There it is. Going back and forth. Lee, where are you going? 45 seconds to go. They're going to have to pull their goalie. New York is again. Okay, what? I guess the computers haven't really changed much. Huschenbeiner. They're behind the net to Curl. Up to Zummel coming in. I'm butchering these names. Holy hell. There's an empty net. Empty net, and they will put it home. There it is. Zumwinkle will score for Minnesota, as they're pretty much going to wrap up their first playoff series, as the Minnesota Frost will advance to the PWHL finals as they beat the Sirens in 3 straight games, sweeping them, and very clearly they were the better team between the 2. Obviously, New York made it a game at the end, but they could not claw all the way back. They ended up losing 5-3, despite being down 4-1. They gave it their all, but could not come back in the process. Also, I'm interested to see, where do these teams play? Are they just playing in NHL arenas? I can't really tell. Is that the Devils Arena? Is this Prudential Center in New Jersey? Why would New York play in New Jersey? Or maybe they actually do, instead of playing in like Madison Square Garden or so. Oh yeah, it definitely is the Devils. There we go. All right, we know Toronto is down 2-1 in their series, trying to tie it up and force a game number 5. We get a tie game in the third, thanks to Rattery. I am total, man, I'm bad with names. I apologize. It's not just PWHL. I go to pretty much any league, and if I don't know how to say your name, it's going to be tough. Carter will score and take the lead for Toronto late in the third period. Shots are 37-20. They're definitely outplaying them. And it looks like we will indeed have a Game 5 back in Toronto. All right, here we go. Winner take all. Game 7 in Toronto. Oh my God, it's a 5-0 lead for the Toronto Scepters. They were down 2-0 in this series. They're on the verge of being swept, and it looks like they're going to win 3 straight. The comeback kids, and they are just going to dominate Boston, as the Toronto Scepters will make it to the PWHL finals up against the Minnesota Frost. They came back down 2-0 in the series, and a historic collapse for Boston. Some things don't change. The Bruins back in 2022 or 23, whatever the hell that was. And now we got the Boston in the PWHL blowing a 2-0 series lead. And the Toronto Scepters now will face Minnesota in the PWHL finals. Here we go. Game 1, PWHL finals, and the Toronto Scepters will dominate 7-2, absolutely blowing out Minnesota from a plethora of goals here. Sarah Nurse chipped in Turnbull was there, Woods, Spooner. They were just clearly the better team. The finals are also a best of 5 here in the PWHL. We got a 1-1 tie heading into the third between Minnesota and Toronto. Shots are 23-17. There it is. Brown will score, and Heiss as well, giving Minnesota a 3-1 lead. 4-1. Flathery will score, and they have just dominated this third period, blowing out Toronto, and they will tie the series up at 1. A very pivotal game number 3 here in the PWHL finals. We got a 3-2 advantage for Toronto in the third period. They're out shooting them 31-21. So it seems like the momentum is shifting back and forth per game here. Both teams were clearly better in their victories. And right now we finally got a close game. Third period, 5-4 power play for Minnesota. They can't do anything on the PP as Toronto trying to hold on to a 1-goal lead. And they will take a 2-1 series lead and be 1 win away now from winning the title. Here we go. Toronto holds a 2-1 series lead, a possibility of raising the Walter Cup here in Minnesota, but not if the Frost have anything. Never mind. Spooner will score and tie the game up. Is that Natalie Spooner? I'm pretty sure I've heard of her before. Regardless, she ties the game up and gets her team back in it. As we got a very close affair. Never mind. Cava will take the lead from Minnesota late in the third period, trying to force a Game 5 back in Toronto. They will do so. They will hang on, and we have a Game 5 winner take all. Here we go. Game 5 winner take all. The winner will win, obviously, the Walter Cup, and the Sirens right now, or Sirens, Scepters, have a 2-1 lead heading into the third. I'm getting new to the names here. Last season, they only had the Brown will score on Campbell and tie the game up. 5 minutes remaining in the third between Toronto and Minnesota. A very close game. Oh no, are we going to have overtime? Okay, we will indeed have OT. Well, there was only one way for this to end, and it was Game 5 in the finals in overtime. Toronto and Minnesota. The next goal wins the championship. Let's see, Stecklin coming down the wing. What is she going to do? Cutting into the middle. Over to Coyne. Coyne back to the point to Heiss. Jacquees. Shoot. Okay, nobody's going to shoot the puck. It seems like not much has changed, and a great save by Campbell. 17:43. Tons of time in overtime. We could be here for a while. I'm not going to lie. Back to the point. Minnesota coming in. Stecklin shooting from the point. There's a rebound. Juicy rebound, but thankfully Toronto will clear the puck out. Natalie Spooner coming down the wing. Tries to rip a slap shot. I don't know what she was thinking there. Panic. Where are you going? Over to Coyne. Coyne loses it. Another turnover. As we are going back and forth here in overtime. Spooner over to back, over. What a save by the netminder. Nice passing play by Toronto, but they don't capitalize as Minnesota on the counterattack here. Where are they going? Panic, shooting, and Campbell's going to make the easy save. An offensive zone draw that they win. Minnesota doesn't get to capitalize though. Sarah Nurse, 2-on-1. Okay, why is she deking into the middle and just turning it over? She had a 2-on-1. Go! Over. Spooner coming in. Spooner cannot capitalize back. I don't know what kind of pass that was. Over to Nurse. Back to the point to Fast. Shooting. A great save by the netminder. A nice blocker save. Stecklin. Up to Jaquees. Over to who is that? That is Panic. Coming down the wing. Loses it. Those floaty passes to the middle are just not going to work. The computers are going to pick that up every day of the week. Twice on Sundays. It's never going to happen. Gosling. Where are you going? Loses it. Over to Zellweger. She scored, I believe, the overtime winner possibly, or maybe the game or the empty net winner in the other game that we hopped in. Flanagan losing in the corner. Minnesota trying to capitalize. Up to Gosling. Here we go. 2-on-2 the other way for Toronto. Coming in. Shooting. Rebound. Full pressure, but they cannot capitalize. Minnesota's going to easily get that puck out of their zone. Moves it up to Krizova. Loses it as well. Oh, what a steal out in front. A great save by the goalie in Campbell, keeping Toronto's season alive and their hopes for a title alive as well. Flanagan, where are you going? Over to Turnbull. I got full pressure on, so Toronto should be pressing here. They should be trying to score, as both teams honestly should be. Here we go. Flanagan rushing the puck as a defenseman. Dumps it in deep. Makes the safe play. As so far, only about 2 good scoring chances for either team. Miller coming down the middle, and Hensley will make the save. Shots are 40-39 Minnesota, but none of that matters now. All it takes is one shot. Toronto, offensive zone draw. They win it. Back to Williams shooting. A nice save by Hensley. Getting body in the corner. Miller over to, who is that? Back to the point. Monroe coming in, and Hensley again. She will make the nice save. I am really hoping we're not going to have multiple overtime periods. Danielle! Oh my god, how? How did she not bury that, dude? A wide open, well, not a wide open net, but a wide open opportunity for Toronto, as Campbell's going to make the easy save there. 48 seconds remaining in the first overtime frame in Game 5. Do or die time. Why are you taking a slap shot? Minnesota trying to get some offense, coming in, shooting, and a nice save again by Campbell. 35 seconds to go. 2-on-1 action in the corner. Pause. Danielle, we got an off-band rush. Okay, never mind. She was kind of offside there. Williams coming in. Where's Williams going to go? Over to Danielle. Over to... Man, they're just getting laid out. Nobody's scoring. We're not having great offensive chances. Either team. Miller again takes it over to Monroe. One final rush perhaps for Toronto. Let's see what they can do in the middle of the Nurse. Sarah Nurse gets bodied and does not get the shot off. Steckland, oh my god, horrible turnover. Horrible, but they can't capitalize. Cava, great D, and we are headed to double OT. Here we go. Double overtime for the PWHL Cup, or the Walter Cup as it is called that. No score in OT number 1, and not a lot of chances of it being honest. Spooner coming in. Where's Spooner? Where's she going to go? Spooner waiting, holding up, back to the point. Shooting, and a great save by the netminder in goal. Hensley in the middle. Spooner again to the rock, to Fask. Shooting, and Hensley will make the save. And she's going to play it, being a little bit risky there, for being honest, in the Walter Cup Finals. Jaquise over to Cone. Does not get a shot on net. Oh, nice steal. Panic to Coyne again. Rings it off the bar, or did the netminder make the save? I have no idea. Fast. Moves that puck up. Come on, Toronto. You got to get out of the zone. The Toronto Scepters trying to win the Walter Cup. Coming down the middle. Where are you going, Heis? Eking into... she kind of did a good job there, although nobody picked up the puck for her. Over Gosling. Shooting. Rings it off the bar. Turnbull. Toronto's this close. Empty net delay penalty. Gosling again. And there will be a power play for Toronto here in overtime number 2. A massive power play for the Scepters. They lose the draw, though. Thompson will dump it down the length of the ice, as Toronto's going to have to regroup here in the PP. A minute 30 to go. They just killed off 30 seconds there. Comfer moves it up to Turnbull. Coming into the zone. Turnbull trying to deke. She doesn't get to do it. Gosling in the middle. Turnbull shooting. Oh my god, that almost went in, dude. Nice pinch to the blue line. Comfer. Backdoor feed wasn't there. The defenseman picked up and intercepted the pass, as the power play is officially over. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Bach over to Flanagan. Flanagan coming into the zone, waiting in the middle. Carter shooting, and yet again Hensley will make the save. A massive failure on the power play for Toronto. Shots are 46-43. Dear God. Back to the point. Larocque over to Fast, ripping one. What a bomb. Spooner shooting. It's on the line, but it could not go over. Cava coming down the wing, or in the middle for Minnesota, shooting, and Campbell will make the save. 46 remaining to go in the second overtime. Offensive zone draw for Minnesota. Can they keep it in? They keep the puck in. They are going to keep the puck in, but they're not getting any offense really at all. They did have to kill a little bit. Sarah Nurse coming down. Nice stride deke over to Spooner. Shooting again. Hensley will make the save. Just easy save after easy save. We got to have some sort of an overtime winner here soon. Danielle down low to Miller. Out in front. What a save by Hensley in goal. Saving Minnesota Steven. The netminders are standing on their head right now. I'm not even going to lie. Cava over to Sheepers. Doesn't get a shot on net. Danielle or Daniel. I honestly have no idea. Larocque moves it up too fast. Coming down the wing, taking her time in the middle. There it is, backdoor feed, and there it is. The Toronto Scepters down 2-0 in the first round. Does not matter. They come back, they go to the Walter Cup Finals, and they will beat the Minnesota Frost for the very first simulation here in the PWHL and NHL 25. Toronto, I guess the mecca of the hockey world. I mean, in the NHL, the Maple Leafs are definitely the most popular team, and now the Toronto Scepters might have that same legacy here in the PWHL. They're the Walter Cup champions. It went to a Game 5, a sudden death double overtime, so it was a back-and-forth series. Either team could have won it, and unfortunately for Minnesota, they are going to have to go home unhappy, and the party shall begin here in Toronto. We're not playing the Air Canada Centre. It looks like we're in a junior rink right now, so I'm actually kind of confused on who's playing in NHL rinks and who isn't here in the PWHL. Funny enough, this cup celebration is actually longer than the Stanley Cup one that we have in the NHL. And there it is. I believe that is the Walter Cup, as Miller will come on up to raise it for the first time, I believe, in franchise history. There it is, as the PWHL is alive and well. And the Toronto Scepters are your Walter Cup champions as they raise that trophy around the ice. In the postseason, Hannah Miller was the leading scorer. She had 9 points in the playoffs in 10 games. Spooner had 8, Hayes 8, Sarah Nurse had 8, and Watts 8 as well. And unfortunately, there are no awards in the PWHL. Maybe there is in real life, but EA did not add it into season mode. Well, that is going to do it for this one, as we went ahead, simulated a full season in the PWHL, and the Toronto Scepters ended up being the champions. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you leave some support on it. I would like to say thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.